Shockwaves are sweeping across the nation as the Supreme Court has issued a ruling that will forever change the landscape of firearms in America. Today, a major gun manufacturer has been ordered to immediately halt production, and the ATF's controversial brace rule has been thrown into serious jeopardy. This decision didn't just arrive quietly, it slammed the industry and gun owners like a tidal wave, leaving everyone scrambling to understand the implications. The Supreme Court's move is bold, unprecedented, and sure to ignite debates from Washington to local gun shops across the country. Gun owners, manufacturers, policymakers, and everyday Americans are now facing a reality that few anticipated, and the consequences will be felt for years to come. The ruling follows months of heated legal battles and public debate surrounding firearm safety, Second Amendment rights, and regulatory oversight. At the center of the storm is one of the nation's largest gun manufacturers, a company whose products have been widely used for both personal defense and sporting purposes. The court's decision to halt production is not a temporary measure. It is a significant judicial intervention signaling that even the most powerful industry players are not immune to scrutiny. For the manufacturer, this means immediate operational shutdowns, halting production lines, freezing shipments, and creating an economic ripple that extends to suppliers, distributors, and retailers nationwide. Thousands of employees are affected, and the impact on local communities reliant on the firearms industry could be substantial. Equally significant is the ruling's effect on the ATF brace rule. For years, firearm owners have relied on this rule to legally attach stabilizing braces to certain firearms, enhancing control, accuracy, and versatility. The Supreme Court's scrutiny of this rule calls into question the legality of countless firearms modified under its guidance. This leaves millions of gun owners in uncertainty, wondering whether their legally acquired and modified weapons could now be considered illegal. Legal experts are already cautioning owners to be vigilant, as the fallout may require some to adjust their firearms or seek formal guidance to ensure compliance. The level of confusion is unprecedented, and the nationwide discourse around firearm legality is only just beginning. This ruling does not happen in a vacuum. It comes at a time when the country is already grappling with intense debates over gun control, public safety, and constitutional rights. Advocacy groups have long pushed for tighter regulations on firearm manufacturing, arguing that enhanced oversight is necessary to prevent accidents, misuse, and mass shooting incidents. On the other hand, Second Amendment advocates and gun rights organizations argue that legal firearm ownership is a fundamental right that should not be undermined by sudden legal interpretations or sweeping judicial mandates. The Supreme Court's ruling touches directly on these tensions, signaling a willingness to assert judicial authority in a way that could redefine how laws are enforced and interpreted in the firearms sector. The immediate consequences are dramatic. The halted manufacturer has confirmed a full stop on production lines, which will likely lead to shortages of key firearm models in retail stores. Gun dealers are urgently recalibrating their inventories, and customers expecting new releases may face weeks or months of delay. The financial implications are also profound. Investors are watching stock movements with heightened concern, as the ruling casts uncertainty on the profitability and operational stability of companies operating in this legally sensitive environment. The economic impact will likely extend beyond the firearms industry, affecting related sectors such as retail, manufacturing suppliers, logistics, and even local economies dependent on firearm commerce. For gun owners, the uncertainty surrounding the ATF brace rule is particularly alarming. This rule has enabled millions of Americans to legally modify firearms in a way that enhances control and safety. With the Supreme Court questioning the rule's legality, firearms that were once considered compliant may now fall under legal scrutiny. Questions abound. Will owners need to surrender firearms, remove braces, or face penalties? How will law enforcement agencies enforce compliance in a fair and practical manner? These are complex issues that are still unfolding, leaving gun owners anxiously awaiting guidance from both legal experts and federal authorities. Staying informed and proactive is now more important than ever. Beyond the legal and practical implications, the ruling is already sparking intense political debate. Lawmakers, pundits, and advocacy groups have reacted strongly, framing the decision as either a necessary step to protect public safety or an overreach that threatens constitutional rights. Some argue that the court has sent a powerful message about accountability within the firearm industry, emphasizing that manufacturers must operate responsibly and within the bounds of the law. Others warn that this decision may embolden regulators to impose stricter rules, potentially undermining lawful gun ownership and setting a precedent for broader restrictions in the future. Regardless of perspective, the ruling has cemented itself as a central point in ongoing national discussions about firearms regulation and personal freedom. The broader ramifications for innovation in the firearms industry cannot be understated. Manufacturers now face unprecedented uncertainty in designing and releasing new products, particularly those that rely on modifications like stabilizing braces. Future innovation may be stifled as companies proceed cautiously to avoid legal exposure. This could impact a wide range of firearm accessories, from compact rifles to customized sporting weapons, and may even limit options for recreational and professional firearm enthusiasts. Legal oversight and judicial scrutiny will likely become an ongoing factor in product development, forcing the industry to adapt quickly to new interpretations of the law. For consumers, it is essential to understand the practical meaning of this ruling. While it does not constitute an immediate nationwide confiscation of firearms, it does signal that the legal landscape for owning, modifying, and purchasing firearms is shifting. Gun owners who have utilized stabilizing braces or purchased firearms from the affected manufacturer must monitor the situation closely, as compliance requirements may evolve. Engaging with legal professionals or reputable advocacy organizations will be key to navigating this complex and rapidly changing environment. Knowledge, preparation, and vigilance are now essential tools for lawful gun owners seeking to protect both their rights and their property. The Supreme Court's ruling also has cultural significance. Firearms have long been a contentious issue in American society, often dividing communities, families, and political parties. This ruling amplifies that discourse, challenging both the public and the media to grapple with questions about safety, legality, and constitutional rights. Discussions are already trending on social media, with gun owners, commentators, and everyday citizens weighing in passionately. Memes, opinion threads, and video commentaries have exploded online, reflecting the deep interest and concern surrounding this ruling. The story has become not just a legal matter, but a cultural flashpoint, highlighting the ongoing tension between personal freedoms and collective safety. State-level responses will further complicate the situation. While the Supreme Court has issued its ruling, individual states may interpret, enforce, or expand upon it differently. Some states may adopt stricter measures, while others may seek to protect the rights of firearm owners within their borders. This could lead to a patchwork of regulations where compliance varies significantly depending on geography. For manufacturers, distributors, and consumers, navigating this complex regulatory landscape will require constant attention and proactive legal guidance to ensure compliance. The stakes are high, and mistakes could result in serious legal consequences. In addition, the ruling is likely to influence political campaigns, lobbying efforts, and legislative agendas for years to come. Gun rights organizations may use the decision to advocate for stronger protections and clearer regulations, while gun control advocates could leverage the ruling to push for further reforms. Election cycles, particularly at the federal and state levels, will be closely tied to the implications of this case, making it a key talking point in debates and policy discussions. The Supreme Court's action has not only changed the legal environment, it has become a catalyst for ongoing political engagement and activism on both sides of the debate. The economic dimension of this ruling is equally important. The affected manufacturer employs thousands, and the sudden halt in production disrupts jobs, supply chains, and revenue streams. Retailers, distributors, and investors must adapt to the new reality quickly, while smaller businesses that rely on accessory sales or firearm support services may face financial strain. The ruling highlights the interconnectedness of the firearms industry with the broader economy, illustrating how judicial decisions can have far-reaching effects beyond legal interpretation. At its core, this Supreme Court decision represents a turning point for the nation's approach to firearms. By halting a major manufacturer and challenging the ATF brace rule, the court has set a precedent that underscores the power of judicial authority and the importance of regulatory compliance. Gun owners, industry stakeholders, and policymakers must all adapt to a new landscape that demands heightened awareness, caution, and engagement with evolving legal standards. The ruling is a wake-up call, a signal that the era of unchallenged regulatory assumptions may be over, and that the intersection of law, commerce, and personal freedom will continue to be fiercely contested. For millions of Americans, this is more than just news. It is a personal reality that could affect their daily lives, hobbies, and safety measures. Firearm owners must now navigate uncertainty, seek guidance, and remain informed to ensure they stay within the law. Manufacturers must reassess their production strategies, product designs, and legal compliance frameworks. Regulators and lawmakers will be observing the unfolding consequences, potentially shaping future policy decisions that could redefine firearm ownership for generations. The impact is multifaceted, touching legal, economic, cultural, and personal dimensions all at once. In conclusion, the Supreme Court's ruling is historic, transformative, and provocative. It signals a bold shift in the balance between regulation, industry freedom, and individual rights. The immediate effects include a halted manufacturer, uncertainty over the ATF brace rule, and widespread debate across the nation. Long-term consequences could reshape innovation, industry practices, political discourse, and the very definition of lawful firearm ownership. Staying informed, engaging with experts, and understanding the evolving legal landscape will be crucial for anyone affected by this landmark decision. As the nation absorbs this shocking ruling, one thing is clear: the conversation around firearms, regulation, and constitutional rights has entered a new, unprecedented chapter. The Supreme Court has acted decisively, and the effects of that action will be felt in gun shops, homes, courts, and legislatures across America. Gun owners, lawmakers, and citizens alike must pay attention, because the decisions made in the coming months will help define the future of firearms in the United States. The shockwaves are just beginning, and the nation is watching closely to see how this landmark ruling will reshape one of the most contentious debates in modern history.